Hello everybody, and welcome to another Twin Flame Healers video with Jill and Rémi. And today we are going to be covering the topic, why is my twin flame such a jerk? We'll have fun with this one. So we're going to be giving an overview of different ways that our twin flame can be appearing to be a jerk, how we're contributing to that, the underlying reasons and causes as we see them, how we can respond, how we can clean up our own act, and what we do that makes things worse, what we do that makes things better. And we're also going to be doing, as always, some healing and clearing for all of you around this issue. And Rémi's going to start by doing an overall clearing for all of us, and then we'll jump in.
Okay, so this is just a brief clearing to start off with, and then we'll go more fully into clearing as the video goes on. So let's ask to clear a variety of dark energies that get in the way for you, for your twin, or other soul connection, and the space between you and your environment. So we'll do a little bit of that and more later. So let's ask for Krishna, Durga, Arcturians and their guides, Ashtar Command, Intergalactic Committee, Anunnaki, shields, fractals and spying devices transform. Let's ask for the Pleiadians to come in with that too. Implants, first layer of the aura and beyond, clear. Demonic, satanic, luciferic, source of all evil, clear with the help of Krishna, Kali and the Masters of the Race. And clear curses in relation to Earth and other locations. And since we have Shiva with us today, let's ask for him to help out with the process as well. Let's ask for Shiva and Shakti to come in. He's connected with a few goddesses. So Parvati, Durga as well. Let's ask for all of them to come in and fill us up. Calming, greater peace. Okay. So back to Jill.
Feels great, huh?
Yeah.
So this is something, everybody, that you can do every day, and we highly recommend it. Just what Rémi did, do for yourself and your twin flame. That helps a lot. This is something that has been just a huge tool in our journey, and we find that it's really, really essential for advanced souls and twin flames to clear on a regular basis. So, okay, so back to our twin being a jerk. So as always, this this topic comes from questions and you know, sessions and things that we have with our twin flame clients. This is a common thing that we get asked, and also always from our own experience, because we've experienced a lot of us being jerks to each other and also seeing the other one as a jerk. So we're going to unpack all of that. We're going to talk about how that's played out a bit for us too. So this video is for you, whether you're with your twin, whether you haven't seen him in 20 years, it doesn't matter, because any interaction that we have with our twin flame, we've got the energetic interaction, and then you've had some interaction likely on the 3D, and oftentimes there's hurt that's left over for that. So this will apply to couples that are together, couples that are separated, or having sporadic contact. This is for all of you. This is a common thread through all twin flame connections. So when I was first starting the twin flame journey this lifetime with Rémi, and in the bubbly-eyed goo-goo phase at the beginning, I was on Google, you know, checking everything, and oh, this program and that book and da-da-da. And one of the things that probably many of you have checked out Jenna Forrest's work, but I remember her saying part of what you're going to have to go through is your twin flame becoming a temporary monster. And I went, oh boy. It was the first inkling that I got that things weren't just going to be like my fantasy, right? Like we all start out with. We think our twin is going to be this perfect lover and etc. So when, in the beginning, all of that's real. In the beginning, when we have that first connection, we're really seeing them as a soul. And they're seeing us as a soul, and we're experiencing ourselves as our soul, as our essence. That's why things are so great. We're activated back into our soul consciousness. So that's the beginning of the twin flame journey. That's very real. That's who you actually really are. And when we do sessions and look into the Akashic records for you, that's what we see. Then, obviously, what happens is all the gunk comes up, and this is where the jerk stuff comes in. So part of our journey is to endure this process of the gunk coming up. You guys all probably know this. We're not telling you anything you don't know. We're just framing it. The first time that Rémi and I started having difficulties, we didn't know what was going on in a way. It was like everything was so great, and then all of a sudden I could feel this energy coming from him, and I was like, what is this? And then he, of course, could feel some coming from me, and we started to play with it and dance with it. And we came up with, we'll talk about sub-personalities later, but we actually started naming some of these characters inside, and one of the first ones was, we named him Yosemite Sam. You know that character with the long mustache and the 6-shooters who's about this tall? And he's like, oh, what does he say? He calls them varmints.
I'm going to shoot you, you varmint.
I'm going to shoot you, you varmint. And we saw that we had that, and we were joking. We said, yeah, we take out our 6-shooter and start shooting at each other. So just pretend that all of you have a Yosemite Sam inside you, and so does your twin, and we'll be unpacking why and wherefore and what to do.
Okay, so part of it is the way we see our partner as well. So there's what they do. And then there's a dance in terms of the way I see my partner is, you're just like my mom, right? Or you're just like my ex-spouse, and I put so much energy into running the hell away from her. And then all of a sudden there you are again, the same character. Oh my God, let me out of here. So we need to work at clearing the energies for ourselves, obviously. And depending on where our twin's at, if they're willing and able to clear for themselves, then we do the dance with them. That's the ideal. But for a lot of twins and other soul connections, you're not together, so you can do it for them energetically.
So one way this plays out, and we're going to tell a little of our story, how this played out for us. Remember, in a twin flame connection, you're dealing with their soul, your soul, and then the sub-personalities, the wounds, the collective consciousness, the ancestral templates, all the other stuff. That's the stuff that needs to get dealt with in a twin flame connection. So we've got our souls, which are always in communion. They're like this all the time. And then we've got these other parts. So what can happen is you'll be experiencing them as two people. And that's what, or a variety of people. And that's what Rémi and I had. At the beginning, we were soul to soul. Things were great. Then we decided to make this move together. And I said, I'm coming, yep, I'm coming. And I was ready, I was excited, I'm coming. And then, wah, 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 I didn't come. And looking back on it now, we see what was going on is that my soul was, you know, raring to go, but I had these other parts of me that I hadn't dealt with yet. Totally unconscious. And I meant every word I said when I said, I'm coming to you. But there were parts of me that weren't ready, and there were parts of me that were stuck in the old template. And boy, was that a tough time for us. That really brought out the temporary monster. Rémi got pissed and started 6-shootering me on a regular basis, and that made things much worse. So we're going to talk about that. And of course, we were totally unaware of what was going on. He's like, you told me you were ready. So what can happen with our twin is they'll say one thing, and they'll mean it, and then they'll do another. We see this all the time. I'm leaving my wife, I'm going to move, or we've seen another variation of that where somebody moves to the twin, then the twin says, well, I'm going to move away. So we're always dealing with this dance between the soul and the let's call it the lower parts. You want to talk about your side of it?
So what was happening to me is Jill said, okay, we agreed, we're coming together. So, and we were guided to go to this dinky little island, which is quite wonderful, but there's nothing there. So here I was in Vancouver, Canada, Jill was in Indiana, the USA, and so we're coming together. And we're guided to go to this little place so we can go purified, we go to a higher level, and we serve more broadly. So I gave up my practice in Vancouver, and I'm so looking forward to being with my treasure. Oh my God, it's so extremely exciting. So then she says, I'm not coming. So here I am sitting in this island that I don't want to be there whatsoever. The neighbors, I think by that point, they'd started pulling out the chainsaws and they were cutting down the trees. I was in a place of nightmare. I had nothing to do except with me and my belly button, right? All I had to do was to focus on myself and clear my issues. And I was so pissed. I don't know how long it lasted, but I think it was like 2 months or something, where I was walking up and down swearing at Jill and furious, so furious. and totally the feeling is you destroyed my life. I didn't want to talk to her. I didn't want anything to do with her. To hell with you.
Yeah.
So she's in the process of cleaning up and sending me love energy and forgiveness and compassion and blah blah. And I am wandering up and down the road swearing. So gradually there's a calming that happened and then we came together.
Yeah.
So there were glitches and complications, but that's one aspect in terms of dance between, she saw me as a very yikesy character, I saw her as very yikesy, you're not reliable whatsoever, you don't love me enough, and so forth. So the freaking out is part of the gig in terms of all our layers, all our stuff comes up to the surface to be healed at that point. And then things go wonderful after that for a while, hopefully. And then more stuff comes up to the surface. Another glitch happens, and then guess what? More stuff comes up. You're not trustworthy, you're not talking to me clearly enough, you don't care about me. So all that gig is happening again. So you're an ogre, you don't love me, you're just like my mom or my ex or the devil. Right? And so there's a going back and forth. So for those of you who are together as twin flames and other soul connections, it's really crucial to have the space so you don't stay together and go into major entanglements that get worse and worse. So you can be in separate rooms and so forth if that works for you, or you go for a walk for an hour. For those of you who are apart for a sizable chunk, it's important to test periodically in terms of the connection to see, as you do healing work, to see if it's ready to connect more fully. So there's a variety of things that get in the way. So for Jill and I, there was the physical union, and then, but for some people, it's because of addictions, or it's because of that ex over there. They're going back and forth to their ex, or they're still connected there. They're afraid of losing their kids. Mm-hmm. For some, my poor old pet can't be moved because it's so old, poor creature. So I got to stay here, and so there's fear energy. So part of the gig is to look more deeply and transform.
I want to say one thing about that, because oftentimes what we're actually afraid of isn't what we're telling the twin is the reason, right? So this is a really common one that we had, and we've also seen it all the time with our clients, where the twin is saying, I'm afraid of my kids are going to hate me. But you look deeper and it's actually a whole big host of other things that are underneath there. So this doesn't make sense. You're going, why would your kids hate you? You know, we work with sometimes with people whose kids are in their 30s and they're still afraid. Why would your kids hate you if you're being authentic and honest and et cetera, and blah, blah. But they're going to hate me for sure. I can't come to you. But and the twin is going, this makes no sense. But you got to realize there's a lot of stuff under the surface that they're not aware of that's impacting them. So it's always the detective work when we're working with ourselves and our twins. I want to add one thing here about false twins, and we had just in the last week or so several twins contact us and saying, what do you think about false twins? And we worked with somebody who was very convinced that their twin was a sociopath, a narcissist, etc. So we want to state our perspective on that. We have never in our practice worked with somebody that had what out there they're calling a false twin or like a negative twin. What we see is that there's a twin flame connection or a soul connection, but that there's so many dark energies that the twin is behaving in ways that seem like they could be a false twin or a negative twin. So we have never seen, because we look in the Akashic records, I can look into the soul records, a negative soul is very easy to tell. We have not ever seen that before. So for what it's worth, we think a lot of times what's happening is two things. There's negative energies that are working through the twin flame, and it can almost be like a semi-possession sometimes. It can be that strong, especially if they've got addiction, drug addiction, alcohol, that opens you up more to negative energies. And then the other twin is feeling that negativity. So let's call it an attachment or a negative energy working through them. That's one. The other thing is there's a part of the twin flame journey. It's one reason we have Shiva with us, and it's what Rémi was talking about. There's an element of the twin flame journey that is about destruction and destroying. Shiva destroys what is false so that the real can emerge. That's what your twin flame is doing for you all the time. So Rémi said to me during that time, "You're destroying my life." And he was right. I did. I destroyed his life, and he destroyed mine. I gave up my house, my family, my marriage, financial security, being taken care of, all of the, these riches in my former life. Goodbye. I had to come be with him. And he had to give up, as he said, his practice and his, he had to give up his identity. He's still very credentialed, but he had to become very weird to be with me too, like sitting here and doing these types of videos, right? That's not approved by the American Association of Marriage and Family Therapy. So he really had to give up a big chunk of his identity and a city he loved and all of that. But it's deeper than that. It's not only that the twin flame journey often causes us to give up external things that we're very attached to, but it's destroying, let's call it our ego. So it's destroying the old templates that we wear to protect ourselves. We feel safe in those old templates a lot of times, even if they're smothering us or confining us. The twin flame rips that cloak right off, and there's nowhere to go but into deeper vulnerability and surrender and letting go over and over and over again. Boy, do our egos hate that. Our inner children hate that too. I just went through one yesterday where I wanted something to happen and it didn't, and I was like, I didn't feel right in my skin, and Rémi reminded me, he's like, surrender, and I was like, oh, it feels awful. And most of us have no coaching, no teaching, and no models of how to do surrender well. So we interpret it as our twin is destroying our life. It's actually spirit doing it through our twin. It's not this guy's fault. It's actually my soul connecting more fully and his soul, but the dance creates this activation that destroys what no longer serves us, period. And we don't like it. And so we blame this guy. You did it. You're destroying my life. You're the source of these bad things happening to me. I want to say one more quick thing, and I know Rémi wants to add on to this. A lot of times, people do lose their jobs, they lose their homes. We worked with somebody about a year ago. Within 2 weeks or 2 months of meeting their twin, do you remember that? They lost their job, I think they got in a car accident, and their house burned down. Literally, and we were just like, oh man. But we could see it was the old structure burning down. It looks and feels absolutely horrible, and anyone looking from the outside would be like, you gotta get away. But we see it's exactly the phoenix. You're burning up the old so that you can be reborn as something new. And we're a living testament to that. We're not just yakking at you. Here we sit right now, fully together. We're not perfect. We don't ever advertise ourselves to be perfect. We still getting glitches and, like the rest of you. But we keep going. Right now we're looking out onto Bellingham Bay with mountains, and we're talking to you guys, sharing what we've learned, and our lives just keep getting richer and richer and better. So yep, we destroyed each other's lives, thank God. I guess it's still me. Do you want to add anything to that?
No, it's good.
Okay, all right. So part of it is perceptual, that how we interpret things really does matter, because think of the difference, how remember too, as twins, you're always connected. They feel your thoughts, they feel your energy, and vice versa. So how we're holding them in our perception. If I see Rémi as a destroyer and a bad guy and a jerk and an asshole and all these things, that's going to shrink me, that's going to shrink our connection, it's going to invite dark energies in, it's going to make the whole thing much more difficult. Where if I surrender and say, okay, I don't like what's happening right now, that I'm being asked to give up these cherished things in my life, but I know it's actually spirit, it's just spirit. And if Rémi weren't the vehicle, then I wouldn't have this opportunity to do that. I'd still be sitting back in Indiana. I was a housewife, you guys, so thank God. So in a way, learning to shift your perception, and we're going to be talking about this more later, of what makes it worse and what makes it better, but holding them in a perception of you're not the enemy, you're not a destroyer. Okay, sometimes we can think our twin is hurting us on purpose, and again, this is the perception. Sometimes we do. Sometimes we get our 6-shooters out. Sometimes Rémi and I, in the past, we haven't done it in a while, except one recent incident, but we rarely say things deliberately to, is that true? I think that is true. Yeah, we don't consciously try to hurt each other, but we still hurt each other. We still say things that trigger things that are in us that need to be healed, or he's acting out a bit and I'm the receiver of it, but we're not consciously trying to do it to each other. So if you know that even if your twin really is seeming like a monster, they very likely are not trying to hurt you. They're just acting out of their own pain. Also, other people, this is where the perceptions of others can be really tricky, because, you know, in a traditional relationship, you don't want your partner acting like a jerk, right? And so, but knowing that what's happening is a deeper level of purification, a helper could often say, well, you got to get away from this guy, or your friend's going, why are you with Susan over there, you know, or so-and-so still stuck in his marriage, why are you bothering with him? Because they don't understand the depth of what's going on. So as a twin flame, you need to hold that knowledge within you and trust your path, and not give your power away to people who are going to tell you, looking at the surface, this is a bad deal. Let's see. Yeah. The other thing about twin flames is that it's, we hear this all the time, I'm done, I'm over it, he's such a jerk, I'm not going to deal with him anymore. We have really not seen that work so well, and I'll talk more about what I mean. We're connected. Think of us as a four-legged creature, or the yin and yang symbol. You're like this with your twin. So the only parts of you that can run away are at the physical level and at the personality level. But really, running is a mental thing. It's just an idea. I'm going to run away from you because it's you. You can't run away from yourself, you know, as much as we'd love to. And boy, do we spend our time scurrying around like rats sometimes, trying to get away from ourselves. Oh, if I leave him, life will be rosy. Yeah, sorry, no. Because, now, that said, we'll talk about 3D boundaries. It's not that you just have to sit there and go, oh, whatever they're throwing at you. That's not true, because we're in a relationship too. We have to set boundaries, and that hurt, that's not okay. If you're going to use drugs, I'm going to be over here, that kind of stuff. We'll talk about that. But this is more at the spiritual level and the perceptual level. Anything else you want to say about that?
Yeah, just a couple of words that we've worked with 3 couples where there's so far that we know of, where there was actual physical violence. So there are various things that can happen in terms of damage and destructiveness. And we were going to talk about that later, but I think it's a good place to, as Jill is talking about, is to put it in now. That the goal is not to put up with whatever from our twin flame or other soul connection. We need to set some clear, strong boundaries and say some things are, you know, just not acceptable to me. And that'll vary from person to person and couple to couple. But as we said earlier, part of the goal is let's create space and let's create connection at different times, so so we can go more and more fully into union and commune more and more fully with spirit in the process. And with some twin flames, they won't be available for quite a while, and so we keep doing clearing for you and for them in the process.
And we'll talk more about 3D and what to do in a little while. Okay, over to you.
Okay. So why are they behaving like jerks anyway? So you think in terms of a lot of the acting out, I'm so sorry guys, but this is part of the gig, right? So who does the substance abuse thing? The tendency is for males to do more of that. Who does the fooling around, going into affairs? There's a higher proportion of males, although there's quite a high proportion of females that do it too. Who does the violence? It's more likely to be males. And who's likely to say, I'm running off to another place? Who's doing the yearning? It tends to be the women. So overall, there's a strong pattern of the women sitting and waiting for the guy and hoping for communion. And she does her things that are part of the problem, and she may be barking at him and so forth, and going too much into intensity and a variety of things. But in terms of the actual physical acting out that's damaging, that tends to be the guy. Now we have to define that carefully, because the guy in the relationship may be a really sensitive New Age guy, and his partner is very yang. She's very powerful and not so much in touch with her feelings, and so she's the one who does the acting out, not aware of some of the causes and so forth, not able to do some of the healing. So it's the guy that has to play the role of transformer. Just like with a lot of cases, it's the woman who has to do the healing and so forth. Not fair, but this isn't about fairness. That's not the gig.
And for male-male and female-female pairs, this plays out in a variety of ways. Who's carrying more yang, who's carrying more yin, and they did that dance too.
Totally. And with Jill and I have a strong yang side, I have a strong yin side. She has a strong yang side, a strong yin side. So sometimes she's totally oblivious about her emotions and what she's doing, and just as I am, right? So as we evolve more and more fully as couples, we develop a strong yin and yang side. So it's not just one person's like this and one's like that. If we think I'm the victim and that other guy, guess what? You're out to lunch, guaranteed.
Yes, guaranteed.
Guaranteed. Yeah. So so part of it is we're reacting. We may not be in touch with it, and that's why at the beginning we did a clearing of various energies, and you may or may not have felt that. But there's a whole host of energies that impact us, and we need to clear them. So there's extraterrestrials, there's curses, there's ancestral stuff from there's previous lifetimes, there's collective consciousness, there's my inner child freaking out and acting out, and etc. So for those who watched our other videos, there's some clearing stuff that you can get from those videos, as well as our webinars and other work. So, and you can get that at twinflamehealers.com. Now, part of the issue is that as we connect more and more fully with our twin and with our soul connection, other soul connections, the energies coming in become really powerful. They are really powerful to begin with. And so it feels terrific, as Jill said at the beginning. It feels so wonderful. And then the obstructions within us, within our energy system, come up to the light to be transformed. So many of you have heard about Kundalini. What happens is energy comes up from the base of the spine as we do spiritual practices, and gradually it purifies more and more. And it gets stuck in various places, and we may have physical pain or react out, and etc. It's the same, except it's done through the relationship. So in our experience, our relationship, the spiritual relationship, is the quickest vehicle for transformation, bar none, anything that we've experienced. I've been on spiritual path since 1969, and there's nothing, absolutely nothing that goes anywhere close to this relationship for fabulous transformation. So part of me, I felt like running away regularly, and then I connect with Spirit and I ask for guidance on that. No, stay put. Oh shit, are you serious? I want to get out of here. And sometimes, I may run away for a few days or a week and run off with my teddy bear, right? But there's always the yearning to come back. So we have to listen to both sides. If things are too intense, then take a break and you go with the yearning and you start communing and connecting again, and there's a purifying that happens more and more and more deeply. And so the riches become stronger and stronger and stronger, and the negatives become less and less and less.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening with us.
Yeah.
It's fabulous.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Over to you.
Okay. So part of the issue is that a lot of twins don't know where this is going, because we're pioneers. This is the first, they talk about first wavers and second wavers and third wavers of twins, but the first wavers, haven't even been around that long either. So we haven't seen the fruition of a lot of, let's call it, illuminated twin flames on the other side of this journey and go, that's where we're going. Okay, then it's worth it. We haven't gotten to see that a lot. So that's one reason why we share the stages of our journey, so you guys can see where this continues to go. We're not sitting up on the pyramid top yet, but we continue to more and more and more, the more that we purify, and that we want to be a living, a living show of what this looks like in real life. That's why we come on here and do this and share our experience too. So do know that you continue to go up. It continues to spiral up. I told Rémi that at the beginning. Spirit told me that. He didn't believe me whatsoever. because he was, you know, he was used to the old model of relationship. And I said, we're going to keep going up. It's like, and I said, we'll get a honeymoon at each stage. And we do, we really do.
I totally knew better. I totally knew she was totally out to lunch. I had all this training up my yin-yang, right? I got a couple of university degrees relating to this work, and then I became certified, you know, 5 years of intensive training after that, and became a couple and family therapist, and worked for years and years in the field, and gave workshops internationally, and blah, 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 all this stuff. So I knew. However, I was totally out to lunch in terms of this, because the goal is not you go through a wonderful thing and then you cope the rest of your 40 years together, or 2 years together, whatever it is. The issue is we become more and more purified, and that's what the twin flame relationship does, that the vast majority of helpers don't get.
That's right, that's exactly right. That's such a crucial point. So we can tell you from experience, if you continue to do the clearing and healing and all of these things that we talk about on all these videos and that you're getting from others who know, you know, how to help you, you'll just continue to go up, and it gets more and more fabulous. And yep, you have to endure a death every time. It's initiation. Twin flame is initiation. You have to die, then you're reborn. Die and reborn, over and over. But you go up and up and up, the union gets stronger, you give more to the world. It's a formula, it really is. Okay, so how can we make things worse? Well, we'll tell you some no-nos that we learn from ourselves and we see with our clients. Because when we're in temporary monster mode, you know, Yosemite Sam isn't that bright. You know, he's going to shoot at whatever varmint he sees, whether it needs it or not. And I think I was telling Rémi this, there used to be a law in Texas. I have to educate him about American stuff, right, a Canadian. There used to be a law in Texas, I don't know if it still is, but it was legal to kill someone if they needed killing. Really? So we think that needs killing, I'm going to shoot it, right? So we go into these stupid states, and how we see this a lot, so this is in the no-no category. No harsh, mean emails. Do not do this. If you're in an angry space, take your hands off the keyboard, step away. Step away from the computer or the text. Don't send it in that mode. Clean up your act first. There may be something you need to say to that person. They may have genuinely hurt you. And very likely it's also your projections going on. It's your subpersonalities getting activated. The worst thing that we've gotten into is my Yosemite Sam and his Yosemite Sam shooting at each other across the fence. That goes nowhere. And we remember, this is our beloved shooting at us. It hurts like hell. So don't shoot at them. Sometimes, you know, you may slip, and if you're living together, it's harder because you're in each other's faces more, but really try, don't send the mean and harsh email or text. No, number 2, no name calling, please. Please try to avoid that, because these men are sensitive. We're talking to you women, but we're talking to the men too. When you call him a jerk, an asshole, a narcissist, a sociopath, a loser, I mean really, we've heard it all. We haven't been that big on name calling. We've done other antics for sure, but boy does that go deeply. Rémi called me a name for the first time a while ago. And boy, I spent like 2 or 3 hours crying. It was so painful. So please, please try to avoid that. Don't just open your mouth and let it spew out. Step away. If you guys are in person, say, I need a break. I'm really triggered right now. Go clean up your energy, then come back. You need at least one adult in the room to have a conversation. If you're both in inner kid mode or Yosemite Sam, it's going to go nowhere.
Can I say something
Yeah,
about
of course.
that? I called her an ogre a couple of weeks ago, and then I was so pissed with her, right? So I was totally right. And then shortly after, I go, oh my God. And then I ended up going into hating my guts for a day, and so I had to work at resolving this. I had to apologize to her a number of times. And then I had to work at clearing my self-hatred, which I was putting on to her. And then I had to look at what were my fears, because she was proposing something that scared the hell out of me. So I had to deal with my fears and in relation to that, so look at really clearly what was going on. So then it could transform, and then we worked at trying to connect. And then we've gone up to the next level since then.
Yeah.
Like this was 2 weeks ago.
Something like that, yeah.
So since then, and this keeps happening to us, we either of us screws up, and then or both, and then we go downhill, and then we resolve, and then we go higher and higher and higher and higher as we go. Fabulous. Very terrible, very horrible. We see parts of ourselves. Oh my God, are you serious that I'm like this? and my beloved too, she's like this, and we have to forgive, go into compassion more and more deeply, and we commune more and more as souls. Fabulous thing.
So no number 3, I think I'm at, I don't know, 3 or 4, is holding on to grudges and holding them accountable for that one thing they said. If I had not forgiven Rémi for that, we wouldn't be sitting here doing this. So know that they're, just forgive them. They're being they are being an ogre sometimes. So what? So are you. We just have to forgive and say, okay, that's the old crap coming up. Hey, we're twin flames here. We're doing this for the planet. So yeah, we're going to be an ogre sometime. All right, I forgive you, and I have to forgive myself too. If you sent the mean, nasty email, send another one and apologize. I'm so sorry. I was acting, from my fear and pain. I'm really sorry I said those things to you. I love you. Let's repair and move on. So just take responsibility, heal. Don't hold on to grudges, and don't, it hurts to be told what you did 2 years ago that hurt that person when you were behaving like a 2-year-old. It's like, yeah, I've grown since then, so let's move on. That said, don't hesitate to clear out the hurts. You need to clear out the hurts. If somebody has called you a name or been hurtful, you need to feel that and process that. So you take responsibility for healing your part. Another no-no, don't push them out of your life in a harsh way. We see this a lot. The email, the final email, I can't take it anymore, move on, go be happy, see you later. Guess what? You're probably going to be eating your words with that, and it's going to hurt like hell. In our connection, Rémi's been the one who's done more the threats of leaving. That hasn't been my thing. I do other things, obviously, but he's threatened over and over again to distance, to leave, to go be over here, take his teddy bear and run away, right? It's so hurtful. And so really know how much that's going to hurt your twin, and if you're trying to do it in retaliation, please don't do that, because it really, really hurts. If you need to set a 3D boundary, that's one thing, but try to do it in a kind, respectful way. If they're drinking or doing drugs or chasing other women, you can say, I'm not going to be your lover while this is going on. I'm going to go over here and focus on healing for you, or you don't even need to say that. It's okay to set a boundary, but try to do it in an I statement way, not a you. You're the ogre, you're the jerk, I'm going to go over here. Speak for yourself. I need to focus on healing right now, and this is hurting me too much, or something like that. So really, as much as you can, try to speak in a way that is acknowledging them as your beloved. And I'll just say one more thing, I think, and then we'll go to Rémi to do some clearing and healing. One thing is, when you're thinking of your twin as a jerk, they feel it. Now men, as we talked difference about males and females, what we see is that males in general tend to be able to shut off their awareness of what's going on in their soul or their feelings more easily. It's one baffling thing for the twin flame women. How can he not want to be with me? How can he not feel that? Well, it's because he's shutting that down, or he's acting from these lower places. He's not in his soul consciousness. So your job is to commune with him as a soul, or her as a soul, and fuel the union. That actually fuels the union. That sends positive energy down the pipeline. If you're pissed at them, thinking they're a jerk, even if you're not saying anything to them, they're going to feel it and they're going to pull away. That's exactly what happened to me and Rémi. He was pissed, his 6 shooters were out, I withdrew even more. It doesn't work very well. So yep, you're going to get hurt. It's not about letting them walk all over you, but the sooner you can clear those things and come back up into the soul consciousness and hold the two of you there, that is going to speed things along way quicker. And ironically, it's going to help them let go of those things that you hate. I got this insight once. It's not my job to sit and chip away at him, the things that I don't like. That's not my job. My job is to hold him up so that those things can be cleared more quickly. There's bigger forces, people, working on us. It's not just our brains running the show. Our higher selves, our souls, there's high beings up there orchestrating this. So the more we're up in that vibration, the more that can happen quickly, easily, and with less damage.
One of the things as well in terms of all this is that one of Jill's favorite things to say in the past was, I'm innocent. So, and that had pissed me off so much because I totally knew she wasn't innocent. Of course she was innocent, and she also totally wasn't innocent.
That's
Both of them.
right. That's right.
But she was specialized. She really focused on, I'm innocent. I got nothing to do with anything, and you're just complaining. And so, so then there's that question in terms of dance. I think in terms of whether that's destructive to a relationship or not. And the title in terms of being jerkhood, right? Who's the jerk and who's not the jerk, right? And what's the definition exactly?
Yeah.
The various ways of shutting out our beloved and acting out and being damaging and so forth. We really need to look at ourselves in terms of what we do and how we do it and what our partner says. The goal is not to do whatever they want. The goal is for us to be in a relatively safe place, to work at communing more and more fully with Spirit, to do healing work more and more deeply, and to be open and honest as much as we can with the other. And if we feel we can't, to talk about that too, and the impact on us and on the relationship. There's a variety of other things about that, but that's a different video.
Yeah.
So, am I doing clearing?
You're doing clearing, yeah.
All right. Okay. So everybody, let's go in. Just be in awareness. Just sit with yourself. Lords of Karma, Archangel Michael, let's ask to clear the energies related to this. There's a whole host of energies. We did clearing of dark energies at the beginning. Now we'll do a little bit of different stuff. Imagine that your ex-spouse or the other guy's ex-spouse is still connected with it and she's really upset. He. And so energy is coming up the pipe and affecting the one twin, which affects the other, which affects the relationship. Let's ask to cut the cords of ex-spouse and other people who are impacting as a negative relationship. So you can use various beings to do that. So Manjushri is wonderful for that, Tibetan Buddhist, but there are others too. And let's ask to clear the parts of us that are damaged from previous lifetimes, templates we've gone through, being spiritual warriors, having been whatever, abused this lifetime, previous lifetimes. There's damage in our system, and so energy, when it comes in, it hits those stuck areas, blocked areas, areas of negative energy, and brings them up to the surface to be transformed. Lords of Karma, Archangel Michael, clear. The subpersonalities, the parts of our energy field that are stuck. Let's ask for Archangel Vawamas to open up our energy system, so it's like the pipes are bigger, so we can receive more, and the obstructions are smaller in that context. Let's ask to open up Sushumna, Nadis, Ida, Pingala, and meridians. Let's ask to repair the grounding cord so we're more in a solid place. It's absolutely crucial for us to go to a place where we're stronger and stronger, more solid, more protected. We've talked about that in other videos and in our webinars and so on. So let's ask for more grounding and protection. For some of us, like for me, I worked for decades at becoming more grounded and more in my power and blah, blah, blah. Parts of me didn't want to be here. To hell with that. I ain't doing this. I didn't know. That's what I did. I saw all kinds of healers to fix it. No way in hell, bucko. I ain't fixing this. Right? So we have to see the depths of ourselves that are blocking as well. So just have the energy go in really deeply into the cores, the core parts of yourselves that are blocking. Blocking union, blocking being here, blocking going more fully with mission, blocking communing more fully with God, the creator, universe, whatever word. What are those? And let's ask to clear the space between my beloved and I. Sacred relationship. So clear the soul level, past life issues, etc. Lords of Karma, Archangel Michael. clear the heart chakra level. We played with the goddesses a little bit at the beginning. It was so great, wasn't it, the energy? So let's ask for them to come back in. So Shiva again. As well, if you're Christian, you bring in Christ. If you're Muslim, you just bring in who feels right for you. And the goddesses. And we connect heart to heart chakra with our twin, whether we're together or not. More deeply. Remove obstructions, remove pain from before. Remove the parts of us that feel unworthy. All of us have parts to that. We have characters saying, I'm fully ready for my twin, and then we look more deeply, and then guess what? All kinds of layers. If you and your twin are apart, there's no such thing as you're fully ready and they're fully not ready. It's not black and white. Bring greater peace. And you ask Spirit to send energy to the parts of them that are blocking, that are terrified, that feel unworthy of you, that are afraid of hurting you. And let's ask to remove chains between us. Chains blocking us, having been a slave in previous lifetimes, and various other things. Having contracts, soul contracts. I was supposed to marry that one and I did. And now how can I possibly be with this new one here that's fabulous riches? So let's ask to clear old contracts that get in the way. Oh, it's like you and your twin flame connecting, another strong soul connection. It's not all of a sudden a coincidence and it destroys all your life and all of a sudden you're a major sinner because you're yearning for that one. That's not it. Because it's Spirit that orchestrated it, right? Because they feel you're ready to go to the next levels. So we clear the old guilt and shame and unworthiness, and I'm a major culprit and afraid of what other people are going to say, and blah, blah, blah. Clear.
Why don't you do the guides? Coordinating the guides, is that
Okay,
thing?
so I'll check with you in a second to do that. Let's ask for you to do that. Let's ask to clear the context. The negative energies in your neck of the woods that are making it really hard for you to be in touch with who you are. If you live in darkest New York City, there's all kinds of energies there, for example, right? You live in a place that's really busy, then it's really hard to feel. So clear those energies around you. Loads of karmic angel Michael. And now we're going to Jill to see what she wants to add.
I just want to do this one piece because we've been doing this in the last few weeks and it's working great. We always learn new stuff, so it's fun to apply it right away. So let's ask for any negative guides or negative entities that are really disrupting your connection. Let's ask for third order guides to escort them, bind their energies. And let's ask for any guides that are not serving you any longer. So this is for you and your twin in your mission and union to be thanked and released. And let's bring in higher, wiser guides for everybody. And this is the part that's new. Let's ask for your guide teams to coordinate. Oh, feel that right there. That feels so good. Rémi and I learned this where we realized that he had a set of guides, I had a set of guides, and we were getting guided like this sometimes. And I knew I was right, he knew he was right. So finally we said, our guides got to, get together. So this is all new. Everything we're doing is pioneering. Even the guides don't know what to do sometimes. We have to learn and teach them. So let's ask for all of your guides to come together, and let's ask for higher, wiser, twin flame guides to come in and assist.
I just want to clarify what Jill was saying. Our guides don't know sometimes. Slightly different change in terms of what she said there. Most of the time our guides don't know, because twin flames coming on Earth is mostly quite new. It's quite recent, so this is new territory. We're figuring it out. I'm figuring it out, Jill is figuring it out, we figure it out together, and our guides are figuring it out and higher up, because it's new level of consciousness. There's no map. So we're all learning.
And I think that's all. So we talked about boundaries before.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
we're done.
yeah, we're done. Okay, so so as always, we're offering this to you. We hope it's of service to you. Share it with anybody you like. The heal, you can listen to it over and over again, or do the healing parts over and over again if you want. And as always, we're here for you. We're doing now these weekly, almost weekly webinars where we're going to cover a variety of topics. If you have things you want to cover, you would like to see us cover, email us, twinflamehealers@gmail.com. On our website, we've got a whole variety of things, and it's just going to keep growing to serve you. So, and we're here to work with you in sessions if you want. We're really here to serve you guys. So let us know how we can be of service, and we're here.
So, Jill, Rémi, twinflamehealers.com. Great connecting with you.
Yeah, take care everybody. Namaste.
All the best.